Ala Hazrat Rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, subhanallah, he mentions approximately 41 diseases of the heart. With the addition of Imam al-Ghazali's identification of the disease of the heart and Imam Abdul Gharini Arusi Rahmatullahi alayhi's books, this number goes up to about 47. Briefly today, inshallah, I'll just go through the names and the definition, so you understand, you have a glimpse into what, inshallah, we will talk about. And Ala Hazrat Rahmatullah mentions at the end of Fatah Ifriqiyya, which is now added in Fatah al-Ghawiyya, volume 21, that if someone does not rid his heart of these 41 or 47 maladies of the heart, disease of the heart, then he will not achieve even the first step of closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we spend our entire life doing the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but at the end, who knows? It might be haba'an manthura. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may make it into scattered pieces of dust at the end, no value. Ala Hazrat says, the first disease of the heart is riyakari. Riyakari means showing off pretense. Allah की रिज़ा के अलावा किसी और इरादे से इबादत करना रियाकारी कहलाता है. To worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to undertake any task, to show off to people, not for the sake of Allah, even if it is giving £5 in the masjid, even if it is coming to the masjid, even if it is reciting the Quran, even if it is going for Hajj and Umrah, if it is not done for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then these things are regarded as acts of riya, ostentation. Number 2, ujub, khud pasandi, which is in English known as vanity. अपने कमाल मसल इल्म या अमल या माल को अपनी तरफ निस्बत करना और इस बात का खौफ ना होना कि ये छीन जाएगा, यानी ये समझना कि ये इल्म मेरा है, मुझे मिला, ये माल मेरा है. To attribute qualities to yourself and not to attribute them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you've got wealth, you say, this is my wealth. If you've got knowledge, you say, this is my knowledge. To be in a state of vanity, again, which is related to egoism. Mine, this is all mine. Okay, it's known as ujub. मसलन सेहत या हुस्न जमाल या दौलत या ज़हानत या खुश अलहानी या मनसब वगैरह को अपना कारनामा समझ बैठना और ये भूल जाना कि सब रब्बुल इज़्ज़त ही की इनायत है. Forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who has conferred to you, who has bestowed upon you the blessing of beauty, the blessing of wealth, the blessing of children, the blessing of having a job, the blessing of being at that level of authority in society. To forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gave you that blessing, this is known as ujub. Khud pasandi. Number 3, hasad, envy, jealousy. Envy, jealousy again cause what? People to do black magic. They do it. I'm not saying every single case that we have in our society is related to that, but predominantly that is the case. Why? Because hasad, they cannot bear to see another person in happiness. They want to do black magic to spoil their life, to corrupt their life. Okay? किसी की दीनी या दुनियावी नेमत के ज़वाल में उसके छिन जाने की तमन्ना करना या ये ख्वाहिश करना कि फुला शख्स को ये नेमत न मिले, उसका नाम हसद है. To make dua to Allah, to, oh Allah, eradicate, remove, take away the blessing that you have given such and such a person, whether it's a worldly benefit or a benefit which is in relation to religion, religious ni'mah. This is known as hasad. We're going to talk about it in detail later on. Number 4, bughz kina, hatred and animosity. इंसान अपने दिल में किसी को बोझ जाने, उससे गैर शरई दुश्मनी व बुग़्ज़ रखे, नफरत करे और ये कैफियत हमेशा हमेशा बाकी रहे. Not to be able to bear to see someone, when you see someone and without a valid shari'i reason you have animosity against them, hatred against them without a valid shari'i reason, this is known as hatred. This is known as bughz, kina. Number 5, हुब्ब मदह, तारीफ करने की ख्वाहिश करना कि लोग मेरी तारीफ करें. बड़ा अच्छा कुरान पढ़ते हैं, बड़ी अच्छी तकरीर करते हैं, बड़ी अच्छी नात पढ़ते हैं, बड़ा अच्छा आपने जो है वो अच्छी दावत की थी, अच्छा खाना खिलाया था, अच्छा ये सब किया था आपको. Yeah, for a person to want his wantonness to hear people Okay, that's known as hubbi madh. किसी काम पर लोगों की तरफ से की जाने वाली तारीफ को पसंद करना या इस बात की ख्वाहिश करना कि फुला काम पर लोग मेरी तारीफ करें, मुझे इज्जत दे, हब्बे मदह कहलाता है. If you ask or if your heart feels that I want people to respect me, I want to be, under the spotlight, I want to be known, I want to be famous, I want people to praise me, to laud me, this is known as hubbi madah, which is a disease of the heart. There are many awliya kiram who spend their entire lives in isolation out of fear of this disease. They retreated themselves, detached themselves from the people. Because as Imam Al-Ghazali Rahmatullah mentions, being with the people is one of the great diseases. If you are in the midst of people and your heart is not sound, they will entice you to do ghibah, they will tale-bear, you will be the recipient of their backbiting, you will lend your ear to them, they will praise you, you will become arrogant, it will cause pride and so forth. Many diseases are caused because of this. So the best treatment, they say, is isolation. Only meet and greet people to that extent which is necessary. And then he says, hubbi jah, the sixth disease is the hubbi jah. Shuhratu izzat ki khaish. Again, what I said to you before, the hope and aspiration that people honor me and respect me. I become famous, this is known as hubbi jah. Muhabbati dunya. This is another disease of the heart. Love of this temporal world. Love of this temporal world is one of the great diseases of the heart. Rather, one alim, one scholar, Arif Billah said, this is the Ra'su kulli khati'atin. This is the mother of all evil. Ummul Khada'if. Hubbud dunya. Love of this world. Okay? And then he says, Talab al-Shahar, which is the same as what we mentioned to you before. ताज़ीम उमरा, अमीर व कबीर लोगों की वो ताज़ीम जो महज उनकी दौलत व अमारत की वजह से हो, ताज़ीम उमरा कहलाती है. To respect the rich people in order to gain money from them, flattery, to praise them artificially, to keep the company of the rich people, وتحقير مساكين, and to deem the poor people as inferior, to stay away from the poor people. This is a disease of the heart. This is a disease of the heart. Why are you keeping the company of the rich people, of people who are there? Who we call in our day and age as the big shots. And then we, plaster it all over social media. I'm with this person. This person is my friend. Even though he doesn't know about you, but then you just want to keep yourself associated with that person. Nonetheless, Ibtidai shahwat, fulfilling the desires, following the desires, the base desires, this is the desire of the heart. Mudahana. Mudahana means compromising your religion. To sell your religion for a bit of wealth of this dunya. Na'udhu billah, in this day and age, there are some inverted commas scholars who are doing mudahana. Selling their iman for a bit of fame. Selling their iman for a bit of money. Selling their iman for a bit of reputation, compromising their religion to gain a prominent status in the eye of people. This is mudahana, this is one of the great diseases of the heart. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us steadfast on our aqidah until we breathe our last. Kufran ni'am, to be oblivious to the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to show ingratitude, not to thank Allah for the blessings that He is giving you. For 30 days, only 30 days, 1 month from the 12 months, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbids you from eating and drinking from dawn to dusk. So shouldn't we then realize the importance of these blessings? Without food and water for 21 hours, we become like zombies. We are overcome with fatigue, tiredness. But every single day in the 11 months, we are, subhanallah, amassing, eating, consuming these blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shouldn't we do shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Shouldn't we show gratitude in His court by coming to the masjid, prostrating in His court, praying namaz on time? Yes, this is the least that we can do. And then another disease of the heart is hirs. Hirs means greed, lalach. ख्वाहिशात की ज़ाती के इरादे का नाम हिर्स है. और बुरी हिर्स ये कि अपना हिस्सा हासिल कर लेने के बावजूद दूसरे के हिस्से की लालच कर ले. You've got your own share of wealth, you've got your own share of money, you've got your own share of blessings, but then you want other people's blessings as well. Greed, avarice. Yeah? An insan, the human being, is never satiated. This is what the Prophet ﷺ said. If a man had an entire valley of gold, he would acquire the second. He would hope to get the second. When he gets the second, he wants the third. This continues, this greed cycle. Yeah, it is a cycle that's eating you up. Greed, greed, greed. Why? Because obviously the amount of things that we see around us, the media portrays us to have greed. You need to have the latest phone, you need to have the latest car, you need to be living in such a lavish home. You need to have this, this and this. That's why greed comes into your heart. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, nothing will satiate the greed of his heart except the dust within which he shall be buried. Grave. Bukhl, miserliness. Not to spend in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not to spend in the way where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it incumbent upon you to spend on your family, on your children, on even yourself. Bukhl, miserliness. Okay? This is what we also know in Urdu as Kanjusi. Tulul amal, very quickly go through this inshallah. Tulul amal, having long hopes. You know what, I'm going to get a degree, I'm going to get a good job, I'm going to spend my wealth, get a few more businesses, get a few more cars, I've already got one, I've already got two, I need three, I'll get four. Long hopes, this long list of hopes. The hadith of the Prophet says, Al-insan, the human being, continues to increase in his hopes, whereas death is going to come to him face on. He's all this list, these dreams that he has. I'm going to drive the latest Bentley, the latest Mercedes, the latest Ferrari, the latest this and that and the other. These are all false hopes. And the worst of people that Imam Al-Azhari mentions are those who harbor false hopes and then they aspire to enter paradise. They have all these long hopes. If you want to become close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, shorten your hopes. Your hope should only be what? One thing. That Allah and His Prophet become pleased with me. That is your hope. That is your tamanna. Other than that, this is all umniyat of shaitan. These are all false hopes that Satan influences you, insinuates into your brain. Forget all of them. Lambi umeed karna. Number 17, shu'ul dhann, badgumani. Yes, negative thoughts about other people. Why didn't he come to my wedding? Why didn't he come to my function? Why? Instead of giving the doubt, benefit of the doubt, the bod mark as they say, benefit of the doubt, we, bring about 101 reasons, wrong reasons why he didn't come. Because he thinks he's big, that's why he didn't come to do salam to me. Because he thinks he's big and he knows he's learned, he didn't attend my majlis and so forth. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Just give me examples here. Su'ul dhann. إِيَّاكُمْ وَالظَّنَّ فَإِنَّ الظَّنَّ أَكْذَبُ الْحَدِيث. The Prophet ﷺ said, beware of negative thoughts in relation to your Muslim brothers and sisters, because the most untruthful of all things is negative thoughts that you have. Why are you interpreting the other person's dream? He knows best why he didn't come. Give him the benefit of the doubt. This is the sign of a true Muslim. This is a sign of a true mu'min. Have good thoughts about your Muslim brother. And then he says, inadul haq, stubbornness. किसी दीनी बात को दुरुस्त जानने के बावजूद हट धर्मी की बिना पर उसकी मुखालफत करना इनादी हक है. This is a disease of the heart. Stubbornness. When an alim of the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah tells you about the ruling of Islam and says this is right and this is wrong, but you are still stubborn and say, no, I'm not going to follow him, I'm going to follow my desire. This is inadul haq, this is a disease of the heart. Widespread in our society. People want to follow their own Google scholar, not want to follow the scholars of Islam, the scholars of the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. They want to shop for fatwa. Let me go on the internet. The Mufti said this, the Ali said this, the Imam said this, but I want to research my own self. I want to do the tahqiq my own self. This is the way of Satan. When you are given a ruling of Islam, accept it wholeheartedly. Pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, open my breast, open my heart, that I can accept this wholeheartedly. Don't be stubborn, don't be arrogant. How can he say this truly? For so many years we've been doing this, and today he says, is this? Inadul haq. When the truth is manifest, accept it. This is the way of Ahlul Haq. When the truth is manifest to you, accept it. When someone gives you a nasiha, accept it. Don't be stubborn and say, how dare you do nasiha to me? All these years, this is what we say. For so many years you've not come to the mosque, and today you're doing nasiha to me. You were counseling. How dare you do that? La hawla wa la quwwata. This is inadul haq, sign of kibr, disease of the heart. Number 19, israr batil, nasihat qabul na karna, ahle haq se bughz rakhna, और ना हक यानी बातिल और गलत बात पर डट कर अहले हक को अज़ियत देने का कोई मौका हाथ से न जाएगा. Similar to what we mentioned before, not to accept anyone's advice. मकरो फरेब, to deceive someone, वो फेल जिसमें उस फेल के करने वाले का बातिनी इरादा उसके ज़ाहिर के खिलाफ हो. Your inward state is against what you do outside. To deceive someone, this is a disease of the heart. बदअहदी, मुआहदा करने के बाद उसकी खिलाफ वर्जी करना, ग़दर यानी बदअहदी कहलाता है. To break your promises. And what greater a disease of the heart will it be when we make promises in Ramadan to Allah, in the masjid, we will pray our namaz on time, O Allah, after the termination of the best month of Ramadan, we will recite the Quran. We will obey our parents, obviously, should start after Ramadan right now. We will do this, we will do that, we will do X, Y, and Z, and as soon as Eid finishes, namaz is gone, everything is gone. We break our promises, every promise that we made to Allah in Ramadan, we break every single one of them at the end, in Eid. And thereafter it continues for 11 months, breaking promise. कब आएंगे आप मेरे घर पे, कुछ काम है मेरा, कल आऊंगा. The kal never comes, the tomorrow never comes. Even with people who are in a profession, if someone asks you for a task, yeah, you are, for example, a builder, a carpenter, a joiner. Let's give an example here. Electricianist, someone asks you, kal aayenge? Acha, kal main 4 baje aa jaunga. This kal never comes. Tomorrow, then goes on to tomorrow, then tomorrow, then tomorrow, then it's months, then it's day, then it's a year. And the person is not attended. Kab aap mujhe paise denge wapas? When will you return my money back to me? You are in debt. I am your creditor. You are in debt. When will you return back my money? He says, just give me until about 5 months. 5 months, inshallah, the money will be there, right in front of your house. I'll be there. The 5 months goes and it's still 5 years, it's not come. Breaking promises, not to be true to your word, this is not a sign of a woman, this is a disease of the heart. Rather, the Prophet ﷺ said, it is a sign of a munafiq, sign of a hypocrite. إِذَا وَعَدَ أَخْلَفَ. When he makes a promise, he breaks it. Another disease of the heart, khiyana. इजाज़त शरइया के बगैर किसी की अमानत में तसर्रुफ करना खियाना है. To breach someone's trust, to break someone's trust, to abuse someone's trust. Just give an example here. It's not only, when we say trust, we say it's money. It's not to do with just with money. If I confide a secret with you, don't say this to anyone, okay? And then tomorrow it spreads like wildfire around Bolton. Everyone knows about it. You have broken my trust. You have broken that trust. إِذَا تُمِنَ خَانْ. This is a disease of the heart. This is a sign of a munafiq. When someone gives you a trust, preserve it. Don't breach that trust. Don't break that trust. Another point he mentioned, 23rd disease of the heart, ghafla, heedlessness. यहाँ दीनी उमूर में ग़फ़लत मुराद है, यानी वो भूल है जो इंसान पर बेदार मग़ज़ी और अहतियात की कमी के बाइस तारी हो. The mistakes that a person makes in terms of religion. Why? Because he's sleeping in the sleep of heedlessness. To be heedless of religion, to be very heedful when it comes to dunya. We know X, Y, and Z about dunya, how to amass wealth, but we don't know much about how to pray our namaz properly, how to give zakah, what are the rulings governing zakah. When we go for hajj, how do we perform our hajj properly? We don't know much about Islamic religions, Islamic regulations and rules, but in terms of the dunya, we are, subhanAllah, we've got PhDs. for the dunyavi matters. Number 24, qaswa, yani dil ki sakhti, hard-heartedness. Na'udhu billah. मौत और आखिरत को याद न करने के सबब दिल का सख्त हो जाना या दिल का इस कदर सख्त हो जाना कि इस्तिदाद के बावजूद किसी मजबूर शरई को भी खाना न खिलाए, qaswat qalbi कहला. To be so hard-hearted that you do not show mercy upon other people. Or to be so hard-hearted because of the mahabbah of the dunya that you completely forget death and you forget the akhirah, the hereafter. You forget that there is going to be one day where we shall not be here, where we will no longer be here on this earth. We will be buried under the rubble of the dirt, of the dust. To forget akhirah, to forget death is qasawatul qalb, is hard-heartedness. Number 25. Tama' lalach, again what we mentioned to you before. Kisi cheez mein had darja dilchaspi ki wajah se nafs ka uski janib raghib hona, tama' yani lalach karna. To be so engrossed in any dunyawi thing that you just, that's what you think about every day. All day long you just think about that. That's called tama'. Tamalluq, chaplusi, flattery, adulation. अपने से बुलंद रुतबे शख्सियत या साहिब मनसब के सामने महज मफाद हासिल करने के लिए आजिज़ी इंकिसारी करना या अपने आप को नीचा दिखाना तमल्लुक यानी चापलूसी करना है, which we also know as artificial humiliation, artificial humbleness. You know, when someone's got money, you want to get some benefit from them. Someone is on a high post on yourself, so what we do is tamalluq, flattery. You praise them artificially, or you humble yourself. You did a ठीक है. Yeah? बहुत अच्छे हैं आप, क्या कुछ चाहिए आपको? The actual reason is not to do khidmah of them, chapalusi, to get benefit from them, worldly benefit from them. This is a disease of the heart. Number 27, i'timad al-khalq, to rely on the creation and not the creator. To rely on the causes and not the musabbib al-asbab, the one who has put the cause in place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the disease of the heart, which again is similar to number 28, Nisyan al-Khaliq, to forget the creator. Nisyan al-Maut, to forget death, antipathy towards death, forgetting death because of being so engrossed in the dunya and wealth to completely forget death. Jurat ala Allah, to rebel against Allah. What does it mean? Allah ki sarkashi wa qasdan nafarmani karna, yani jin kaamon ko Allah azza wa jalla ne karne ka hukum diya unhe na karna, aur jin kaamon se Allah ta'ala ne mana farmaya hai unse aapko apne aap ko na bachana, ye jurat ala Allah, to rebel against Allah, to do the things which Allah has forbidden you to do and not to do the things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded you to do. This is a rebellion against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jurat ala Allah. This is a disease of the heart. Allah has told us to pray our namaz on time, to give zakat, to fast the 30 days of Ramadan, from dawn till dusk. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us to be obedient to our parents. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us to do X, Y, and Z. Everything has been mentioned. But we go against it. This is jurat ala Allah, to be stubborn. This is the audacity to rebel against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 31, nifaq, hypocrisy. Zaban se Musalman hone ka dawa karna, और दिल में इस्लाम से इनकार करना, निफाक़ i'tiqadi. There is two types of nifaq, nifaq i'tiqadi, nifaq amali. Nifaq i'tiqadi means to say that you are a Muslim by the tongue, but to be against Islam by the heart. Alhamdulillah, no Muslim is like that. Yani, Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, none of them like that. और ज़ुबान और दिल का यकसा न होना निफाक़ amali है. Nifaq amali means that your tongue is not in conformity with the heart. This is nifaq amali. Hypocrisy. This is the disease of the heart. Number 32, ittibai shaitan, following Satan, following the desires and the insinuation of Satan. This is another disease. Bandagi nafs, to be subservient to your base desires, to your nafs, to always follow what your nafs says. This is the disease of the heart. Number 34, raghbate batalat, najaiz or haram kaamon ki janib dilchaspi rakhna, to incline towards haram, forbidden things, to have this inward desire to go towards haram. This is known as raghbate batalat. This is the disease of the heart. Karahate amal, neek aur achhe amal ko napasand karna, to detest doing good deeds, to detest waking up for Fajr Salah in the morning. To detest walking from your home to the masjid, even though it's a few meters away, is a disease of the heart. To detest work of religion, to propagate Islam, to detest all of this is a disease of the heart. Number 36, قِلَّةِ خَشِيَّةِ Allah Ta'ala ki khawf mein kami ko qillat khashiyat kehte hain. To have very little fear of Allah, to fear people but not to fear Allah, this is a disease of the heart. Jaza', apprehension and easiness. Whenever you are afflicted with a calamity, you become apprehensive, agitated. मुसीबत के वक्त घबरा जाना, जजा फजा करना, शिकायतें करना, ये भी दिल की बीमारी है. नंबर 38, अदम खुशू, बारगाह इलाही में हाजिरी के वक्त दिल का न लगना, for your heart not to be inclined when you do righteous deeds, when you are engaged in acts of worship, for your heart not to be inclined, not to be fully active in that. This is a disease of the heart, which is known as अदम खुशू. ग़ज़ब लिन्नफ्स, अपने आप को तकलीफ से दूर करने या तकलीफ मिलने के बाद उसका बदला लेने के लिए खून का जोश मारना गज़ब कहलाता है. अपने ज़ाती इंतकाम के लिए गुस्सा करना गज़ब बिन नफ्स है. To become angry because of a personal retaliation, because of a personal thing, to become angry, not because of religion, not because someone has transgressed the perimeter set by Allah. Not to be angry at that, in those states, in those circumstances, but to be angry for your own self. When someone shouts at you, when someone swears at you, when someone causes you pain, you become angry. This is a ghazab lin nafs. This is a disease of the heart. We'll talk about that, inshallah. Tasahul fillah ki ta'rif, tasahul fillah, ahkam ilahi ki bajā abrik mein susti karna, aur Allah ki nafarmani mashguliyat karna, isko tasahul fillah kehte hain. To be lazy when it comes to fulfilling the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to fulfilling the injunctions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be lazy is known as tasahul fillah. Number 41, very quickly inshallah, takabbur. We all know what takabbur is: pride, arrogance, deeming yourself superior than the other person. Number 42, badshuguni. Badshuguni means superstition, or believing in superstitious things. You can't walk around this piece of land. Why? Because last time I saw a demon there. Charlie probably. You can't walk over the gutter. Why? Because there might be some jinn that come out in the shape of frogs and rats. By the way, last time I did see a hedgehog walking early in the morning. I was a bit scared, but I knew it wasn't a jinn, it was a bichara hedgehog. Now I wanted to walk. Wasn't anything superstitious. If you open the umbrella in the house, this is superstitious. Yes? If you walk under the ladder, this is superstitious. Something bad's going to happen to you. If you see one magpie, it's bad luck. If you see two, it's even worse. If you see three, stay at home. Superstitious. Islam doesn't believe in all of this rubbish. This is all rubbish, literally, rubbish. Islam doesn't believe in this. Okay? Everything good comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? And we can avert evil by becoming close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All these superstitious things, to believe in them is a disease of the heart. Shamatat, Allah, number 43, which means derision. I अपने किसी भी नसबी या मुसलमान भाई के नुकसान या उसको मिलने वाली मुसीबत और बला को देखकर खुश होना, ये शमातत है. Allah. To be happy when your Muslim brother, blood brother, or your Muslim brother, not with blood relations, is afflicted with a calamity, you become happy. You hear the news, he's become bad, alhamdulillah, jumps high. Someone trips on the street, you laugh at him, a Muslim brother, this is Shabbat, this is disease of the heart. You fell. Just to give an example, this is the simplest of example I can give. Okay? Something bad happens to a Muslim brother or sister and you laugh at them, this is shamat, this is a disease of the heart. Number 44, israf, extravagance, wastage, wasting money, wasting time, wasting your efforts and your skill, this is israf. जिस जगह शरअन आदतन या मुरुवतन खर्च करना मना हो, वहाँ खर्च करना, मसलन फिस्क और फुजूर गुनाह वाली जगहों पर खर्च करना, to spend your money to call people to dance and to play music in your wedding functions, or extravagance, fireworks, for example, extravagance, israf. Where does it say in the Quran or Hadith that you're allowed to do fireworks? The simple ruling is, those who are extravagant, they are the brothers of Satan. Allah says this. Don't waste your money. If you've got so much money, give it to me. Inshallah, we will spend it in deen. Give it to people, institute of sacred knowledge. They are, doing chanda every single day of Ramadan. Appealing to you. Give it to them. If you think you've got so much money, give it to them. Israf is a disease of the heart. Khamir dunya, to be worried so much about the dunya, this is a disease of the heart. One of the great causes of depression in this day and age is too much worrying about dunya. Allahumma la taj'al dunya akbara hammina wa la mablagha ilmina. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, don't make the dunya the sole priority of our worries. Don't let us worry in relation to matters of the dunya. Let us worry about matters in relation to the akhirah. Let us worry about death. The intelligent person is the one who is self-vigilant and thinks about the akhirah, doesn't worry about the dunya. Allah has written your rizq. Your sustenance has been written. You will not attain death until you eat from that rizq. Even if it be on your deathbed, it was written for you to eat that watermelon, you will eat it before you die. Rizq is written. Don't worry so much about rizq. Inna shaytan ya'idukum al-faqr. It is Satan who keeps on worrying you, keeps on making you concerned about the dunya, about poverty, about indigence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah ya'idukum maghfiratan minhu wa fadla. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises about maghfirah and His grace if you are with Him. Man kana lillah, kana Allahu lah. If you are Allah's, the entire world will be subservient to you. Don't worry about Him. And then number 46, tajassus, spying on people. We have, the MI5, even in the masjid. The FBI, agents. We want to know everything. कहाँ गया था, क्यों गया था, कैसे गया था, किसके साथ गया था. I want to know everything. Where did he go? Tell me, where did he go? Who did he go with? When did he come back? Who is he hanging around with? Yeah, if it's for good purposes, alhamdulillah, that's good. Tajassus. But लोगों की खुफिया बातें जाहिर करने के लिए और जानने के लिए कोशिश करना is known as tajassus. To try and get, receive information about people's secrets, spying on people for the wrong reasons. This is a disease of the heart. Don't spy on me, don't spy on anyone else. Spy on your nafs. What's happened to my nafs today? Yes? Nonetheless. 47 inshallah. The last one. Mayusi, to be in despair of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a disease of the heart. When you do tawbah, have yaqeen that inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept your repentance. Don't be in despair of the mercy of Allah. Being in despair, in that state of despair, in a state of depression from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is a disease of the heart. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me and everyone the tawfiq to learn about the disease of the heart. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala purify my heart and everyone's heart from these diseases. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the tawfiq that we meet Him with a sound heart, with a qalb sareed. May He resurrect us amongst those who cleanse their hearts, purify their hearts, the Nabiyyeen, Siddiqeen and the Shuhada and Salihin. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen.